The fire begins the moment curiosity outweighs comfort. Most drift through existence collecting safety rather than answers, numbing themselves with repetition until their own reflection looks like a stranger. But there comes a day when silence starts to burn, when the weight of untested potential becomes unbearable. That day divides the ordinary from the extraordinary. The ones who act in that moment no longer ask what could go wrong. They ask what would happen if everything went right. They stop trading possibility for predictability. They understand that existence without experimentation is a slow erasure. The choice is between risking everything or dying, having never seen what could have been created. A person only lives fully when fear becomes secondary to discovery. Every heartbeat spent in hesitation is time escaping the grasp of creation. The beginning of transformation happens when curiosity finally defeats caution. The path ahead will never feel ready. It was never supposed to. Those waiting for perfect alignment before taking action will wait until their ambition fades into excuses. Life does not send permission slips. It rewards initiative. The ones who advance without certainty carve space for growth to exist. Progress doesn't come through plans. It emerges through contact with resistance. That is the paradox of movement. The road reveals itself only after the first step is taken. What separates visionaries from dreamers is the willingness to act when outcomes remain unknown. The mind that moves before clarity discovers that motion itself creates the map. Fear is not a wall but an unopened door. Each push against hesitation creates momentum that compounds invisibly until confidence replaces confusion. Curiosity demands sacrifice. The pursuit of experience dismantles comfort layer by layer. The person who commits to exploration must bury complacency like a past identity. There will be days filled with doubt, nights haunted by the echo of what was familiar. Yet that discomfort is not punishment. It is proof that evolution is underway. Growth feels like destruction because old patterns must collapse before new possibilities emerge. The unknown is a brutal teacher, but its lessons last forever. Security produces dependency, uncertainty breeds mastery. The individual willing to lose familiarity gains control over destiny. The pursuit of the unknown rewrites the nervous system to crave challenge over certainty. That recalibration transforms hesitation into hunger. Every failure becomes a form of feedback, a compass recalibrating direction. The mind conditioned for exploration stops viewing mistakes as personal attacks and begins treating them as progress reports. Each wrong turn sharpens precision. The process of collapsing and correcting builds the emotional armor necessary for greatness. The world fears those who no longer fear being wrong because they become immune to shame. They iterate endlessly until mastery emerges naturally. The process becomes self-perpetuating. The more attempts made, the greater the understanding, and the less external validation is required. Freedom is not found in avoiding failure, it is found in normalizing it. The willingness to stumble daily is what separates those who observe from those who create. Ambition without execution corrodes the soul. The weight of potential unrealized is heavier than any failure endured. Regret haunts slower than pain but lasts longer. The person who withholds effort until conditions improve wakes up one day to realize the clock has consumed the dream. Those who act immediately, imperfectly, create momentum that breaks inertia. Each repetition, each small completion builds internal proof of capability. Confidence is earned through motion, not thought. There is a primal satisfaction that comes from closing distance between vision and reality. It is not about speed, it is about continuation. Those who keep moving eventually make progress too vast to ignore. Action compounds faster than ideas. Discipline transforms chaos into strategy. The curious spirit that seeks new horizons must anchor itself in daily consistency. Without structure, creativity decays into distraction. The disciplined mind channels energy toward purpose like a river carved through stone. Routine becomes sacred, not restrictive. Through repetition, control is reclaimed from chaos. Each day of precise action adds to an internal empire of order. Discipline eliminates the need for motivation because it transforms identity. When process becomes instinct, achievement becomes inevitable. It is through structure that freedom expands. The balance between focus and curiosity creates the architecture of self-mastery. True progress demands solitude. Isolation strips away illusion. In silence, intentions are tested without witnesses, and excuses are exposed for what they are, fear wearing reason's mask. In that solitude, identity fractures, reforms, and hardens. Those who spend time alone long enough learn to separate desire from distraction. They stop performing for approval because solitude removes the audience. Every breakthrough in history was born from withdrawal followed by reinvention. The mind that confronts itself becomes unshakable because it no longer fears confrontation from the world. Silence becomes a forge, not a void. Those who learn to endure it become the architects of their own transformation. Momentum is the only language progress understands. The moment action stops, regression begins. Consistency builds momentum faster than talent. The one who moves daily, even slightly, surpasses the genius who waits for inspiration. Motion converts uncertainty into strategy, while stillness breeds decay. The consistent builder stops measuring success by recognition and starts measuring by alignment, how closely effort mirrors vision. The mind addicted to movement becomes unstoppable because it no longer negotiates with comfort. Every new challenge becomes a continuation of purpose, not an interruption. Momentum doesn't seek validation, it seeks velocity. Once that velocity becomes identity, stagnation becomes impossible. Creation requires rebellion. The world resists transformation because change threatens comfort. To pursue one's own path means violating the expectations of others. This rebellion is not loud or destructive. It is surgical and internal. It begins with the decision to value self-direction over conformity. True creators detach from consensus because consensus rewards compliance, not originality. The cost of individuality is misunderstanding. The reward is sovereignty. Every great innovator faced ridicule before reverence because society only celebrates what it first condemns. The courage to move despite ridicule transforms ordinary lives into timeless examples of self-determination. Freedom begins where validation ends. The realization comes quietly at first, like a faint pulse behind the noise of daily routine. The awareness that something powerful lies dormant, waiting for ignition, yet trapped under layers of hesitation and distraction. The mind knows there is more. The body senses it in moments of stillness, but comfort seduces with its soft decay. Days pass, identical and unchallenged, while the whisper grows louder. The silence of unused capability begins to feel heavier than failure itself. There comes a night when the mirror becomes an enemy, reflecting the potential of what could have been rather than what is. That reflection does not lie, it haunts. It becomes a call to arms, not through anger but through awakening. The quiet terror of realizing what could fade untapped becomes fuel. That energy, once harnessed, transforms paralysis into purpose. The human condition was never built for stagnation. It was designed for evolution, adaptation, expansion. The mind corrodes when denied challenge, the heart slows when denied pursuit. Comfort acts as a slow poison disguised as peace. It promises rest but delivers erosion. The decay is invisible until opportunity vanishes. The tragedy of unrealized ability is that the decay happens internally before the world even notices. Purpose disappears long before breath does. Yet within that decay lies the cure, the discomfort that comes from knowing more could be done. That feeling, when understood, becomes the cleanest motivator on earth. It purifies intention. It redefines ambition from vanity into necessity. Every day wasted carries an unseen cost. Momentum decays. Dreams lose shape. Vision dulls into habit. The world does not pause to wait for readiness. The hours lost to hesitation never return. They accumulate quietly, each minute a receipt for future regret. The mind that becomes aware of this truth faces a choice: to surrender or to reawaken. Some spend their existence rationalizing delay, believing tomorrow will be kinder. But tomorrow is a reflection of today's courage. Change does not arrive through optimism, it arrives through confrontation. The awareness of finite time transforms routine into urgency. When every decision becomes weighted by mortality, clarity emerges. The question shifts from "what if it fails" to "what happens if nothing changes?" That shift rewires destiny. There exists an invisible graveyard where unrealized ideas are buried. The inventions never built, the books never written, the movements never started. Each one belonged to someone who believed there would be more time. The soil of that graveyard is made of postponed intentions and quiet excuses. To walk near it, even in thought, is to understand the scale of loss the world suffers when conviction is postponed. Every person has carried at least one idea capable of reshaping reality, but fear, laziness, and distraction become the undertakers. That thought alone should ignite fury. The idea that one's silence might bury something extraordinary. The mind that grasps this responsibility can never again accept mediocrity. Potential demands expression, suppression of it becomes betrayal. The pursuit of growth requires becoming comfortable with risk. Progress always begins with tension between safety and expansion. The body may crave security, but the spirit hungers for creation. The tension between the two defines destiny. The moment comfort wins, vision dies. The moment risk is embraced, transformation begins. The unknown, once feared, becomes a playground for evolution. It is the same principle that governs every force in nature. Pressure creates form. A diamond does not emerge from rest. Heat, friction, and time sculpt both matter and character. The fear of untapped capability turns into momentum only when discomfort is embraced deliberately. Growth does not knock politely. It must be chased into existence. Discipline becomes the only anchor in this battle. Without consistent movement, inspiration turns into noise. Every plan, every intention, every dream dissolves without the structure of repetition. The disciplined treat progress as obligation, not emotion. That structure protects against the slow death of potential by turning aspiration into mechanics. Each repetition adds armor. Each habit replaces fear with familiarity. The disciplined eventually operate on autopilot, while those waiting for inspiration drown in hesitation. Discipline is freedom disguised as limitation. It teaches that control of time is control of destiny. Through ritual, the mind learns to silence doubt and prioritize creation over contemplation.